is hard as hell. United, Tottenham, Arsenal. Watch my lips, and I will spell. Cause they don't just play, but they can rap as well. Liverpool FC.
My idea was to build Liverpool into a bastion of invincibility.
Welcome to another episode of the Anfield South podcast. Yes, we're back like fans at Anfield once again. Hey. It's me, your boy Slim, as always. Boy, full screen today, man. So I'm going to go from what I can see on my screen. Hefe in the building.
How you doing, guys? Welcome to LFC World.
And of course, Bajan Bruce.
Bajan Bruce in the building, boys.
You know what, ladies and gents, yeah? Bajan Bruce, yeah, he just said, let me, hold on 1 second. He put the phone down, come back, and he had this top. Listen, this guy is just pulling tops from nowhere. Yeah, I think you need to donate a top to Anfield South so we can, raffle it off.
No, to me, because I can't afford to wear these tops, clearly. Yeah, so help me out. You've clearly got 6 of them.
We're not going to stop. We're not going to start this, David, all right?
Listen.
Don't be calling me David Lloyd. That's not me, fam.
Listen, Engineer Sam, for a man who's got a gym in his house, you can't be asking for nothing, yeah? So just
listen, you're trying to get me burgled up in here. Don't be telling people my business. Fuck.
And Engineer Sam, I pay you enough buttons to buy yourself a Liverpool top, yeah? So just allow it, yeah?
No, you don't. You don't. Write me some new checks, bro. Write me some new ones. Shit.
Hey, listen. Hey, Pastor Stu with the heavy sermon this morning in the building.
Right, guys.
Look at him, all like nonchalant, like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, and of course, big man like Chris as well. What's happening, brother?
Happy to be back, people.
And as always, the pod would not be possible without my right-hand man, Engineer Sam.
What's going on, people?
Come on. Literally just finished watching Liverpool Wolves, final score 4-0. And yeah, man. Happy, man. Just happy, man. Just business has, full service has been resumed for me after that game. It was so lovely to see fans in the stadium and hear some of the great songs that the fans live and not that fake crowd noise, man. Damn, that was doing my head in. But yeah, fans back in, 4-0 victory. Let's pick it apart, boys. Engineer Sam, the team. It was a big topic on the preview show about what formation we would play and if anyone would get dropped. Yeah, talk us through that one, man.
It was a bit of a surprise for me, to be honest. The last person I saw being dropped was Jota. Wasn't expecting that at all. But as always, we should just never doubt Klopp, innit? He knows what he's doing. The fact that the front three remained, let me shout out 19 times Sam, because that's what he called on the preview show, and he was right. And to be fair, it worked beautifully. Everyone played well. There was flashes of what seemed like the traditional front three, the movement, the linking, the Firmino we know and love was back in full effect tonight. I ain't seen them nutmegs in time.
Wow.
And it actually warmed my heart a little bit because, we was really getting onto him a bit, and now he seems like he's properly got his confidence back, and he's back in form. So front three was standard. The midfield was what we all chose, to be fair, with Henderson, Jones, who played well again, and Winnie, who clearly just doesn't need a rest ever. We actually got Holland Winnie tonight as well, which I'm sure we'll come to later on. And finally, big shout out to Nico Williams, man. I mean, to get a booking after, 2 minutes? And to still play so well and to minimise the threat of first Neto and then Traore, massive respect from him. So, and obviously Kelleher just doesn't concede goals. So,
well, that's the thing that we neglected on the preview show to talk about the goalkeeping situation. But yeah, Kelleher got the nodding goal. Stu, come to you. Was that the right decision to give Kelleher the nod? Would you have gone with Adrian?
It was a brave decision to go with Kelleher. I suppose he's deserved his spot after the Champions League game. The one thing I like about him, he looks like he commands the box. He's always talking. There was even in the first half, there's parts in when they had corners, and he was just telling everyone where to go, like what to do, where they should be standing. Comes out, catches balls. So yeah, he commands the area, which is good.
What's crazy is that before the Champions League game, he'd conceded 7 goals in like an under-21s match or whatever it was. It was mad. And they put him in goal for like a crunch Champions League match. But you know what? Props to the young lad. He did well against Ajax, and he did well again tonight. Didn't really have too much to do in the way of saves, but anything he did have to do, he did well. So props to
I
him.
suppose also in those games, in like the under-23 games, you're playing with different level of defenders in front of you as well. So, and he knows that. Not saying under-23s don't listen, but he knows he can. Like, he's got the respect of these players already.
Yeah.
So, like, if he's telling them what to do, they're listening to him. So
So just to add, I just find that the lad, he's confident in his he doesn't mind if it comes on his left or his right. He don't need that time to prepare himself as Adrian does. Like Adrian's not, he's not confident with it. Like, man, if that ball's coming, he wants to have that touch and then ping it. And sometimes these strikers or whoever it is, the midfielders shutting him down, know that about Adrian, and that puts him under that pressure. But my man don't have that. And the key thing with him as well, what I always say about with goalkeepers, it's about like when they're needed. You might only be needed like twice in that game, but we need you to show up. And he's done that. Like, I've seen it. Like today there was a couple of little things he done that I was really impressed with.
I think Klopp referred to him as a footballing goalkeeper. So that was the reason why he said he gave him the nod. And I think you can see it. Whilst I wouldn't say he's like Messi on the ball or anything like that, but he is confident on he's a left-footed goalkeeper, but he's confident with both feet, comfortable with both feet. So yeah.
Slim, sorry, is he definitely left-footed?
Yeah.
That's mad that you can't tell.
There you go. That's how good he is with both feet. And I think the way we like to play football, I think you need a keeper who's good with both feet, because as Leroy was saying, you look at Adrian, he needs to take a touch, set himself X, Y, and Z, and that just puts pressure on him, the back four, everything else. So yeah, it was brave of Klopp to put him in, but it was right for him to get the nod today, definitely. Do you know what I mean? After his midweek heroic.
Yeah, I think him being good with both feet also helps that he was an outfield player to start off with.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think Adrian was an outfield player, but he's outfield, and the thing they said is like he was top goal scorer, like as a striker. And then, like the next season, he gets put in goal. So,
yeah.
Well, I would say he doesn't look like a footballer at all, though. Like if he walked past me in the street, I would not say he's a footballer.
He looks too gangly for a footballer, man. Way too gangly. You know? That's why they probably put him in goal, man. Like, nah, you just go back there. You know what I mean? But Adrian comes from an era of goalkeepers where goalkeepers were goalkeepers. Do you know what I mean? Like where you just wanted your goalkeeper to save the ball and just boot it type thing. I mean, I don't think he's of that new era of goalkeeper. But no disrespect to Adrian. He done his job when he first came in. I just hope that the same thing that's happening to Adrian kind of now doesn't happen to Kelleher. And, you know, he is going to make a mistake at some point. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I feel like every goalkeeper goes through a phase where they make a few mistakes. And I just want to hope that the fans treat him with the kid gloves that he deserves and gives him the chance so he doesn't feel the pressure and end up being at Adrian. Do you know what I mean? So time will tell. But yes, so the game starts pretty well, and we kind of get a goal out of nothing, really, man. Chris, talk to me about that first goal, man, with that quarterback pass from my boy Hendo.
Yeah, listen, we try that a few times per match. Most times it does come off. This time, a bit fortunate. I'm surprised that Cody tries to take the ball down on his chest in the box, knowing the kind of, lethal guys that you're playing against. But listen, we take them at the end of the day. If you're going to do that, no disrespect, you deserve to be punished. He's the captain as well. I'm surprised by that, put it that way. But it's just that pinpoint accuracy. He had to do something, because if he didn't, Salah's in anyway. So he did it, and I guess the decision was just the wrong one, innit?
Do you think with Cody, Chris, being ex-Liverpool, he felt a bit of something to prove? Obviously, we let him go at a young age, whatever else, whatnot. Do you think he felt like something to prove? So the whole chest in it was the whole, look at me, I can play football. Do you know what I mean?
I hadn't thought of it like that, to be honest. It's a possibility. Personally, I don't know. I think he just thought he probably had more time than he did, to be honest. Obviously, he wants to do well. He wants to do well when he comes to play against us. But it just felt like he made the wrong choice and then he just got punished.
But you know what? Cody's actually not a bad defender. I mean, there was obviously when Virgil got injured, there were talks of we were going to look to him, maybe some blah blah blah. He's usually a little bit more assured, man. I think that was a bit of an overconfidence on his part.
Yeah, it is a bit. You know, I think he could have done better there, and maybe it's because, from what I understand, they were playing a 4-4-2, weren't they? And ultimately, he would ordinarily play in a back three. So he would have the extra cover as well. Don't get me wrong. I think since they've switched to like 4 at the back, to me, he's shown that he can do it. I didn't think he could. I thought he always needed to have the extra cover. In the few games that they played, all right, take today out of it, could have been just a bad day at the office, but maybe he has proved that he can play as a centre-back pairing. But ultimately, that was just a case of, did he not have the cover, or did he think he had the cover? And that split second, thinking, oh, I could just control it, pop it off to the next, central defender. It's not actually there, and then you just got robbed, and that was it.
You don't take them kind of chances with Salah around, do you, Hefe, man? The guy's hungry, man.
He's razor. He's razor sharp. He's had that, obviously, that period with the COVID where he's had to be eased back into the team against his own wishes. But it's something that you had to do to protect him from himself. And he's hungry, seeing other people in his place playing well. He had to, he's obviously going to be on top of his game, and the run that was superb. But going back to Cody, because he's essentially a midfielder, a centre midfielder for most of his career, especially when he was with us, when he went to Huddersfield, centre midfielder. So he's the ball playing defender in that whenever they got 3 or 2, he's the ball player. So he's there to take those kind of risks, because when it pays off, it could spring an attack for them. But with Salah around, he's waiting for that. You got to anticipate. And the anticipation was superb. And then the finish, what can you say? But yeah, that is Salah all over. Yeah.
Like you said, I think, like you said about Cody being the ball playing centre back, he plays a lot of those balls over the top and it gets a lot of goals for Wolves. But I think today they were missing arguably their star man in Jimenez, which kind of, those balls over the top don't really work when he's not in the team. He's a big lad, holds up the ball quite well, brings other people into play. So, well, Cody's misfortune is Salah's gain, and that goal brings Salah 2 goals behind.
Is it Son?
Is it Son? Yeah, two goals behind Son in the race for the Golden Boot. So I'm sure Salah's happy not to play.
I was going to say, I think he's 2 goals behind Calvert-Lewin. He's
Yeah,
1 goal behind Son.
There you go. Yeah, there you go, Stu. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm glad
also going back,
someone got the correct stats in front of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I was saying,
don't get it twisted. That's why Stu's got the background, yeah. So you can't see all the bits of paper with all the shit down. No, good.
I was going to say, going back to that Salah goal though, is Salah's touch makes that goal. That Salah's first touch, that little cushion touch, makes that goal easy for him.
I mean, you back Salah 100% in those positions. In front of the goal, you back him. Do you know what I mean? You once you see Salah get the ball in those positions, you just know the next goals, man. So you don't worry. So in Cody's haste to make up for his error, he does what no decent footballer should do, and he cheats. Talk to me, engineer Sam. Let me ask you this: if it was the other way around, forget the error that he done. If it was the other way around and there was a Liverpool player in that position, would you expect them to do the same?
Firstly, let me just say, this is on Prime, right? So I'm watching it on Prime. I'm getting messages from my watch. I'm getting messages from the Anfield South WhatsApp group. Yeah, and the shit hasn't even happened on my screen yet. So I'm confused at this stage. Yeah, I know what's going on. And I see it live and I'm thinking to myself, nah, it didn't even look like a penalty real time. Because you could see when Mane drops to the ground, his hands are up. Yeah, because he knows he pulled out. To answer your question, yeah, we've been known to dive for penalties. Yeah, but at least there's a little bit of contact. When there's nothing, you can only defend him by saying that he anticipated the contact and was ready to go down. Judging by his reaction and how kind of sheepish he looked, and the fact that when Hendo tried to drag him to say, bruv, what are you doing? Yeah, he kind of shrugged him off. Yeah, I think he knew what he did. My only complaint really is that they wasn't pulled up on it. And unless you book people for that, it's going to happen again. And to answer your question, Slim, yeah, I'd take it, to be fair. If it was the other way around, I'd take it. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't think there's many of us here that would disagree with that, would take it. But obviously, when it goes against you, you know, you're fuming.
We deserve a bit of luck, to be fair.
Well, do you know what? I'm glad you said it, because luck doesn't really come into it. Because my initial reaction was, why is Sadio trying to bicycle kick it in the box? You know what I mean? With a defender, like an attacker oncoming, like that's just, you're asking for problems. Like, does he not remember what happened between him and Ederson, like at Man City? Like, really? Like, do you know what I mean? But like, obviously, that's the beautiful thing about VAR. We get to see the replays, they get to see the replays, and you can clearly see that he pulls his foot away. Someone in the group said it was Professor Paul. No, was it Professor Paul? No, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Cine. Said, we finally got sort of a decision from VAR. And I was a bit like, oh, it's not really a decision, because saying we got a decision from VAR sounds like we got a little touch. It wasn't supposed to be for us, but, you know, VAR overturned it for us. But it was actually the right thing to do. So it's not really luck or a touch from VAR, man. It was about time they got a decision right. You know what I mean? After the decisions that they've had recently with us. I mean, I think we've had the most decisions go against us. It's like 8 or 9 decisions go against us this season so far. And what are we, 10, 11 games in? Like, obviously, it's like 1 a game. Like, it's ridiculous. But let's not make this about VAR, man. They got it right in the end. And
I was going to say, sorry, Slim. I was going to say, the only thing I would say on that is, I still don't understand why they needed the ref to go and see it on the monitor. If they know he hasn't made contact with him, they should be able to tell him there's no contact, it's no penalty.
But isn't that because they're trying to not take the decision away from the actual ref of the game in game time? So even though they've probably advised him and told him that, he probably knows there's no contact. When he's going up, it looks like he's made the decision as opposed to him being told what to do.
No, fair enough. But then I think we've also heard
he's got to make the decision. It's the decision's got to come from him, isn't it? VAR are just advising him, really.
Maybe. But then we've also had like Carragher, like he was saying on Monday Night Football that he's actually heard the VAR people telling the referee about the decision while they're actually looking at it on the monitor.
Rah. Okay.
So what, you feel they shouldn't be saying anything until they've actually just
No, I just think I think if they say it's wrong, if they look at it and say, look, there's no touch, there's no need for you to go there to the monitor on the side of the pitch. There's no contact.
Theoretically,
just overrule it, yeah.
Me myself, I disagree. I think it's done the way the referee. If you look at it like real time, yeah, I can see why the ref done what he's done, yeah, because it's at speed, and that then Donker, I think, was sort of in the way, so he's automatically thought, right, that's a pen. Now they've obviously gone in his ear and said, mate, you need to go and look at that because don't think there's any contact there. At that point there, he goes, has a look, sees it, has a look at it a couple of times, bang, decisions made. I've made up. That was the clearest cut VAR I've ever seen. The refs made a clear and obvious, like, there's a clear and obvious mistake. They've told him, he's looked at it, rectified it, job done. The problem I have with this VAR thing is how messed up some of the other things are. Adama Traore the other week should have had a pen against Arsenal, didn't get it. But then the game that we have with Brighton, Welbeck does some nonsense and gets a penalty. It's like, That's the kind of
Hey,
nonsense that
Leroy
needs to
also as well in the Chelsea Leeds game, same situation.
Yeah, same
happened,
thing.
like against
There you go.
Brighton. Yeah, They-
Consistency.
but the thing is,
That's
that's
what
it.
we're
VAR,
asking
VAR
for.
was VAR was brought in to there we go, having a VAR debate. VAR was brought in to help with the inconsistencies in the game, and it seems to be just bringing more, really. Like, but they've come out and said it's not going anywhere. It's here to stay, man. So what do
But
we do, man?
I will say also with VAR, a lot of the time, especially with the handballs and the offsides, it's not actually VAR, it's the rules that are rubbish and need to be changed.
Mm.
Like they're just going by what the rules are, but it's the rules that are rubbish. And also you look at going back to the Chelsea Leeds game yesterday, how have Match of the Day got better technology to see that the first one of the Chelsea goals should not have been allowed because the ball went out of play from a clearance.
Well, you know, we'll get to the Chelsea. We'll get to the Chelsea game. We're gonna talk about that after this game. But yeah, I think you know what, it's difficult because VAR's playing such an important role in a lot of matches, especially our matches. So it's difficult to not make it the topic of conversation. But I think we can overlook today because one, they got it right, and two, it didn't really affect the outcome of the game. But I'm slowly but surely getting bored of talking about VAR. You know what I mean? Just like Leroy is by yawning. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, listen. Listen. I didn't mean to do that, but listen, I was fuming. When that happened, you can imagine what I'm like, bro. I am going nuts in here. Nuts! Oh, God, I'm going to kill someone. Once he fixed it, I was like, okay, it's cool.
No, your blood pressure goes up. It's mad because VAR does that to you, innit? You have a goal and you're up here, and VAR brings you here. You know what I mean? Like something happens, VAR brings you. Like, yo, it's mad. It's crazy. It's just nuts. But anyway, yeah. So 1-0. I think even at 1-0, yeah. I'd say we were still quite in control of the game. I didn't really. Did anybody feel threatened by Wolves in that first half?
Do you know what? If I can just cut in, I'd say for the first maybe 10, 15, yeah, it was a very kind of thing game. Like both teams were very cautious of one another, that you could get hit on that break, whether it be from a corner, and then bang, they make the breakaway or whatever. So it was that. But then after that, we started to come into our own. I think they knew in themselves, if they now start to press, they're going to get that problem because they're going to leave holes in it. I think that was it. They kind of admitted defeat quite early, in my opinion.
I wouldn't say I was worried per se, but we got a warning. I think Robbo tried to cut the ball out midway in our half and he missed it, and it allowed Traore to get free. And then Fab dived in, he missed it, and I'm thinking, boy, this is a bit sticky. Yeah, and for me, that was more what it was. Thankfully, obviously, Traore stayed on Wolves' right-hand side. But I was thinking, if this carries on, especially if he switches sides to go on to Nico, it could be problematic. But that was the only thing. It was just, we had a few warnings where we're attacking and they could hit us quickly on a break, but nothing overly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I was pretty comfortable. I think even if you switched to Nico's side, I was comfortable because Nico's more of a defender. I know you can be a bit naive and be a bit high up the pitch, but he's more of a defender, if you like. Do you know what I mean? So I was personally, I was pretty much at ease in the first half. But obviously, that was a little bit scary. But I was like, come on, man. We're Liverpool, man. Fans are back now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. We got this. So second half starts and like someone alluded to already, man. Holland when he turned up, man. Jeez. I mean, that guy. Did anybody else get the sense that he was looking to pass backwards or something when he was like,
hey. Can this be? Can I take this one there, please?
Go ahead, man.
You know what? Yeah, you see how you lot convinced me with Hendo. Yeah, people need to put some respect on Winnie. I'm being real now, bro. They have to, bro. This guy has been showing up in the aspect that where everyone's on that treatment table, the guy's there, bro. And
touch wood.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
Yeah, touch wood.
But seriously, like in that goal. So we get that break, and I'm looking, I'm thinking, what's he actually gonna do here? Because I actually thought he was gonna it was either one of the two, he was gonna hit it and he wasn't gonna have enough power behind it, no conviction, or he was gonna try and slip Mane in. But then, boy, the twin turned up, bro. The horrible twin turned up. Whip us in, bang. Seriously, and you know what? The commentator said it, and I was like, for real, people are not giving the credit. Like this guy, he's gonna leave, innit? Come January, he's gonna get his move. Well, not he's gonna be sorting out where he's gonna be going, and that's gonna happen, innit? But he ain't changed his. He's still giving it. He's still playing. He ain't down tools in no way. He's been turning up for us, man. I'll be pissed when he goes, innit? But boy, it is what it is.
You've resigned yourself to losing him. Wow. That brings me nicely. I did want to talk about his contract situation, but before we jump onto that, I don't think there's a lack of respect on Wijnaldum. You know, I just think we all know what Wijnaldum brings to that side. He's a mainstay in that team. He's behind the Lallana. He's Klopp's second love child, mate. Do you know what I mean? So I think we all could know what he brings to the side. I just feel like. Now, tell me if I'm wrong. A lot of us see two different Winnies. We see the Winnie that plays for Liverpool and can hold on to the ball, protect the ball like it's a newborn baby. And then we see the Winnie that plays for Holland, who is basically like a number 10, is always on the edge of the box, in the box and scoring goals. And I think we just want to see that Winnie more. You know what I mean? That turned up today.
But it's the team structure. He has to perform the job that he does perform. You know, in Holland, it's a totally different setup, totally different array of talent. And I think he does what he does for us because that's what he's called on to do. But I just want to say, if there's one person that's eating hard food in that squad,
yes,
Cater needs to look at his plate every day. So, as we say, we touch, but he's there every single game, and it puts in a great shift. You know, but his technical ability is what you expect from a Dutch player. It's top notch. He does everything well.
He's so good at protecting that ball, holding that ball, restoring the foul. He is in. I guess you're right. It does come down to like systems and like styles of play. But for the way we play, I think Wijnaldum has become probably like one of the main cogs next to Henderson in that midfield. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I give him nothing but respect. I just know what he's capable of going forward, and I just feel like when he gets in those forward positions, show me that Holland Wijnaldum. Do you know what I mean? Like you can do it. It's okay. You're in that final third. Do it. And his goal today for me, he looks like, and you can see Mane was not quite on for a pass, and then I'm screaming at the TV, hit it, Wijnaldum, hit it, and he didn't even hit it. He actually just caressed it into that top corner, man. I mean. Beautiful goal, and I mean, I love that. Love that. I love all of that, man. Big Bird sitting on the bench today as well. Must have loved that as well. But to go on to the contract situation that Leroy was talking about, Chris, man, what have we got to do to get this guy to stay?
This is the point now. This is the question. We all here are saying he's integral. We're giving him the respect. We know that he has a part to play in the team and so on and so forth. Listen, if he had gone in the summer, we'd have been in a sticky situation. So why are we not paying him the money then? What is it really that it comes down to? Is it length of contract, or is it the money? Because he's there. He will always turn up and he will always give you, you know what I mean, 110% if that's even possible. And he's shown that to us. So what else is there left? You know what I mean?
Stu, does he want to stay?
Want to? Yeah, he might not want to.
That's what I was going to say. Stu, does he want to stay?
I think he probably does want to stay. I've got a feeling it's the length of contract. I think, how old is he? He's like 30.
That's this. Yeah. So what would you? Is this his last big payday?
Yeah, this is his last big payday. I think. I don't know what the structure is at Liverpool at the moment. Maybe like they're doing what Arsenal used to do, where they only gave players who turned 30 and over a 1-year contract, and like just kept rolling it over, and give you another year and then another year.
Yeah, but surely we could see that model from Arsenal didn't work, because there are players who are 30 and over who warrant longer contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel you got to treat every player on based on what they give you and what they've given you. Someone like Wijnaldum surely deserves a bit more respect than that from the club.
Okay, so what if we've got all our midfield are injury free? Which three start? Because
It's easy.
like, there's loads of talk about it being Fabinho, Henderson, and Thiago. So where does that leave Wijnaldum?
What are you trying to say? What you say that Wijnaldum wouldn't be up for the fight for a position because he doesn't get to my best midfield.
I'm not saying he wouldn't be up for the fight, but he's looking at that, and then you've got Keita there who's like knocking on the door, well, supposedly knocking on the door.
No.
You say Keita?
Keita's not knocking on nothing.
No, I said it's supposedly.
My man's
I said
knocking on the
supposedly.
treatment bench, man. What's that?
No, I said supposedly. I said he's supposedly supposed to be knocking on that door.
No,
he's not.
I actually think it's the length of contract. I don't think they want to give him more than a year or two, and he wants more than that.
Well, do you know what?
Is it so? Sorry, Slim. Is it so hard to believe that a man could just want to leave, and that he's achieved everything he's going to achieve at Liverpool, and he wants to leave on a high and go and live in a different country, experience a different league? He might just want to leave.
He hasn't won the FA Cup or the League Cup yet, man. Like, come on.
Oh shit,
man.
No, but he's got to stay then, man. He's got to stay.
No. See what I'm saying?
Just for that, you know, just for that.
Best,
I mean,
the best.
No, but key point that Sam said is what he wants to win. Yeah, because he don't even get games in those tournaments, so it's what he wants.
It's true.
It's done. It's done.
I suppose the challenge is done for Winnie. You come to England and you got to think he came from a relegated Newcastle side. He's a world champion, European champion, Premier League champion. I mean,
there's nothing else to achieve at Liverpool for him, man. What is he staying for? Really, what is he staying for? Like
maybe
at 30?
What if he wants to? I was gonna say, what if he wants to leave? Because like the rumors are Barcelona, and
that's the worst place to go right now.
Yeah, I know, but what if they're saying that they're going to play him in the position that he plays in for Holland?
Yeah, but playing in a team that's inconsistent and gets beat most weeks, they can pick front. It's still, I don't the real kind of intelligence and the reason behind going there. If they was Barcelona of maybe 5-6 years ago, then I can understand. But this Barcelona, you wouldn't want to go there.
Dead. This Barcelona team is terrible.
Unless there's a Bayern Munich after him or Juve potentially, then I can see that. But then I can also see him potentially wanting to go back to Holland, which nobody has
already. Well, but at 30, I mean, he's got a lot left in him.
I'm with you, Hefe. I think he wants to go back to Holland.
You know, and he's been like, he's got a strong affinity to the final than PSV fans. They love him out there. You know, he's been captain at both clubs. It could be he wants to go back, or he said, you know, or he could be playing a really good game to get the contract that he wants. No, because he would be the first Klopp signing to leave. The first Klopp signing to leave on his own steam. All the rest of the guys that are gone, they were signed by other people. But this is the first Klopp guy that could potentially.
That's true. You know,
wasn't Emre Can signed by Klopp?
No, he was signed by.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna bring Clavan in, but Clavan really didn't play that many games. So.
Hey, don't diss Clavan, man. He filled a hole for a while, man.
He did. Man, like Clavan, isn't it?
It was a hostelry. It's a stopgap.
I think for the age that Wijnaldum is, I think for him to retreat to Holland would be a little bit of a cop-out. The competitiveness wouldn't be the same. And I think he's obviously still at a level where he can compete at the highest level. I don't see the point in him going anywhere else, if I'm honest. I think he needs to just fix up, possibly take what's on the table and then keep it moving. I personally think it's a money thing. I don't think it's a length of contract thing because he knows he's a mainstay. So he knows he's going to get another extension at the end of that probably. So just
talking of the money, Slim. Talking of the money, he's still on his original contract from when we signed him from Newcastle, right?
Is he?
He hasn't signed another contract.
Yeah, he hasn't signed a new contract.
So he's probably on something like 50 or 60 tops. He's not even like a proper big earner.
There'll be incentives on there though as well, won't it?
Yeah, but I'm talking about his basic. I mean, if you look about Virgil's basics, probably 170. Your Salah's and your Mane's are probably on the 170s, 180s, I'd imagine. So if he's on that Newcastle money, coming from a relegated team, he's probably on. Maybe your money issue is right. Maybe you got a point there, Sam.
I think it's a money issue personally. Do you know what I mean? But you know, time will tell. These things always seem to come out in the wash. But you know what? I hope he stays personally, and I don't think there's anyone here that will disagree with me. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what though? Just to add to it, the contract thing though, yeah. Like, if I'm honest, if you think about it, as a footballer, you're gonna want to have some sort of security, and football's a funny old thing. So if you get in, he signs on like a 1-year contract extension all the time, gets injured, I mean, he's out for pretty much the season, and then it coming back round now. What do they want to try to tell him? He wants to pay as you play and all that nonsense. 3 years, 4-year contract shores him up. That's all I'm saying, isn't it?
Yeah, no, but that's why the money is important. Think about it. You can have a 3-year contract, but be on his Newcastle money, yeah, like now, or you can have a 1-year contract and be on 100 plus. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the money is important. So he might earn more on the 1-year contract than he would on a long-term contract with less money. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why I believe it's a money issue. I believe you might be thinking like you. I'm getting older. Injury's going to creep in. I might be. So he needs the money to compensate for that. So, yeah, time will tell.
Go on.
Time will tell. So yes, beautiful second goal, and the third goal comes from, I wouldn't say an unlikely source, because I expect this guy to get more goals, man. But when he's on the damn pitch, that is. But yeah, man, the man. This is the thing. The man, the myth, the African animal that needs little water is what someone said to him, as we call him, the giraffe, Joel Matip. Yeah, I mean, with a big header. Do you know what I mean? Why didn't he get more goals, Matip?
I think if you look at the amount of games he plays and the ratio, he always gets a couple of goals a season. He always does. You know, I think if he was on the pitch more, he'd get more goals. I think it's all about getting him on the pitch. You know,
100%. And this season, it's all about keeping him safe, keeping him fit, because we're gonna need him. Yeah, brilliant header, right where he should be, Matip. From it was a great little short corner from Hendo and Salah, and it was quite on the money. Bang, big header. Let's talk about that centre back pairing, because someone said in the group that Fabinho is the second best centre back in the world, and I agreed with it. Would anybody disagree?
Yeah,
the world.
Big statement, you know.
Who said that? Didn't they say the league?
No,
yeah,
right.
league?
Sorry, my bad. They said the league. My bad.
Oh.
I can concur with the league business, yeah, not the world.
You know what,
yeah,
Sam, and for making me look bad, that's 3 less buttons you're getting for this podcast, man.
For fuck's sake, bruv, like the checks ain't good enough as it is. Let me just turn my video off and just lock off the thing from now, innit, because I'm not even interested no more.
Listen, I'm the star on top of the Christmas tree. You're meant to always make me shine, brother. What's going on? Come on, man.
Listen, like if you're wrong, I got to call you out, innit? I got to call you out.
Yeah, no. He was touted as Fabinho was touted as the second best centre back in the league, and I'm just asking, agree or disagree.
It's the tough one, because the thing is that it's very tough to play as a centre half in our system, because there is a lot more exposure than, let's say, a Spurs, because Spurs, like I watched the game today, you've got about 20 people around you to protect you, and so you never get exposed. Whereas, you know, Liverpool, there's a lot of exposure. There's the high line. It's akin to maybe playing in the City defence as a centre half. There's a lot more exposure, so it's a lot tougher. So, you know, if his competitors, if you put them in our defence, how would they fare? I don't know, but he's doing an amazing job, especially for somebody that's, you know, a centre mid, a DM. You know, when they put for Fernandinho there last season, it's night and day. If you compare Fabinho this season to Fernandinho last, night and day. You know, he deals with everything in the air and on the floor. His one-on-one defending is superb. So yeah, man, I wouldn't say the person was insane for saying that, but yeah, it's quite early. It's still quite early. Let's see the season play out, and then we can make those sorts of statements, I would say.
Fair enough.
I might say something that might get me banned, but it's got to be done because this is Anfield South and we try to put all things on the table. I'm not gonna lie, I'm been impressed by the brother at City. They got him from Benfica.
Ruben, guys.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've been impressed. I'm not saying he's the second best. I'm not saying he's better than Fabinho, but because obviously Fabinho is a midfielder, isn't he? By trade. But that guy has impressed me. Whether they played in or had enough challenges, because when they've had a challenge, they've slipped up, haven't they? So I guess there's time will tell. But I have been impressed with his most recent performances. Doesn't mean he's second best, but you know what I mean. I've thrown another name out there, innit?
You know what? Fair enough, man. For a man who can take ownership of his baldness, we're gonna take your point on, man.
There you go. See, wearing a hat today still.
We ain't even gonna go there on this pod, We're all struggling out here. Like, just because you can take your hat off and run your hands through your hair, it don't make us feel any better about ourselves, It's not cool, man.
Listen, at least I'm not banned. At least I'm not banned, innit? At least I'm not banned. It's fine. It's fine.
Side note though, that Ferran Torres for Man City looks good, but we'll talk about them later. Yeah, man. Well, you know what, Fabinho, he's doing the job. He's doing really well back there. It's his garden's smelling the roses right now. So long may it continue. Do you know what I mean? And as long as we can keep Matip fit, which we're managing quite well. I mean, he's missing the odd game here and there, and he should obviously miss the game on Wednesday. I've seen as we're qualified. Yeah, we should be all right until Big Verge gets back. It was lovely to see Big Verge in the gym this week. The photos of Big Verge in the gym. He's I would say, I'm no specialist, but I would say he's probably ahead of schedule. I mean, that was only how many weeks ago? The injury? 5 weeks ago. And he's already like up about on his feet, unaided, doing work in the gym. Does anybody think that the timeline given was just to take the pressure off Verge and he'll be back sooner than expected?
I think so.
So go on, Stu.
Yeah, no, I think so, because I think Klopp did the same thing with Oxlade-Chamberlain when he got that big injury. Like, Klopp is very quick, especially with anyone with an injury. Doesn't matter if it's weeks or days or a year or whatever. Klopp's very quick at saying, we're not going to rush them back. There's no timeline. Just let them get on with getting better, getting ready, and they'll come back when they can come back. Like, we saw calf injury. We didn't expect Trent to be back within 2 weeks. So
yeah. And speaking of Trent, he comes on the pitch about 60 odd minutes, and Trent was back to doing what Trent does. I mean, first and foremost, the ball from Curtis Jones out to Trent was half decent, and then the ball Trent puts across the box. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I could just see it. I just see it straight away. I said, "Yep, that's going across the box." He's whipping that round the fence, and when you put those kind of balls in, what happens? Defenders rushing in, get a touch, and then it goes in. But I just want to say on that, I think Mane could still be playing that game today, and he wasn't going to score, man. What? I've got written down here, yeah, hot and cold Mane, because. Correct me if I'm wrong, not you, Sam, because I will take more buttons. Mane's not playing. It's not like he's playing bad. It's not like he's out of form. He's actually playing just like I know Mane to play. But in front of goal, he's just not having the luck, man. What's this guy got to do to get back on the score sheet?
Do you know what? He created a little chance for himself. Like it was a ball played into him. I'm not sure who played the ball into him. And he took a great touch. But when he hit it, he didn't hit it with no conviction, because he could have come back the other way against the keeper if he wanted to. And he could have gone the way he went, but he just didn't. It's like he just snatched at it. And I was like, oh. But he did a lot. He did all the hard bit. And then the next bit, he kind of flopped like in it. But I don't know. He's a guy that could just turn up next week and score a hat-trick. Is that mad, though?
You could even see on that chance, there was one angle, I think, like head on to the cop. One angle, and you can see as soon as he hit it, he just turned away in disgust.
Yes. That was the one.
It was, yeah.
He knew.
So I
He did.
think that was Henderson who put the ball into him.
Yeah, he's just not having a great time in front of goal at the minute for me, Mane. But I don't know about anybody else. I'm not overly worried. Is anybody concerned?
Nah.
You know, he'll turn up when we really need him. There'll be a big game when no one else is hitting the back, and he will just notch, and then he'll go off and running. You know, we've seen it so many times over the past 3, 4, 5 years. You know, when we need him, he's there. You know, when everyone else is scoring, he's not a flat trap Willie. When everyone's scoring, then he chips in with 3 or 4. It's when we need him.
Yeah, and he was in the he was in the right place at the right time today. I think him being there at the back post is what causes the defender to sort of slide in and get the own goal. Do you know what I mean? So man.
Did anyone notice that Salah seemed to let it go?
Yeah,
Salah could have scored, and I felt like he actually stepped off and left it for Mane.
He actually put his hands up.
He put his hands up as if he was like, okay, I'm going to leave it for Mane, and I'm like, oh, big up greedy Salah, man. Like that was big.
Greedy.
Allow it, man.
It's a good thing. I'm praising him. I'm just saying.
It's like a backhanded compliment.
You get what I'm saying, Hefe? No, that's 2 more buttons, bruv. No, allow it, man. Allow that.
It'll be minus buttons soon.
Tell you, I'm not getting paid this week. I'm just not getting paid this week. Fuck's sake, man.
Man said, big up greedy Salah, you know.
Yeah. I think Sam's got a ghost account in the group, the one that's always bashing Salah, where you don't ghost account.
No, put some respect on Salah's name, man. Yeah, regardless of what side of the pitch he's on, he's a striker, isn't he? Wide forward is what they're calling them now, isn't it? So, and you need one of them in your team, man. Let's not do the greedy Salah thing. Yeah, you know what I mean, but.
As I say just now on Prime, they were showing his stats. He's actually up on his stats from last season.
What
on
stats?
Everything?
Conversion,
goals, conversions, goals, assists, touches, possession, and all sorts. Like he's up on last season.
It's not even a little either, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not even a little bit. It's a lot.
Wow.
Like he's as I say, he's quietly playing in form, but no one's actually taking notes of the form he's in.
I think the Salah train has sort of gone quiet on the sense of he came, he hit the ground running, and he had those 2 seasons, and I think like now it's expected of Salah to hit good numbers and stuff like that, to the point where we're not praising him for the things that he's doing.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Do you also think that with the start that Jota has made to his Liverpool career, it kind of has given certain people a different focus as well? Because Salah's still hitting numbers. Do you know what I mean? But then Jota, for the games that he started, I think he hit 8 goals or something like that. So people are now looking over there and thinking, what's he about to do? And then the coast is kind of clear for Salah, isn't it?
Yeah. I kind of think that there's some people get praised like massively. You get world class thrown in every 2 seconds with like a Son or whatever, but they're actually just doing Salah's levels. So they get like the praise, and they're just doing Salah's regular.
You know what, Hefe? Yeah, those 5 buttons I took from Sam, I'm giving them to you, my brother. Yeah, I love that. It's the classic thing of the press building up people and not necessarily knocking Salah down, but they build people up and knock you down. Do you know what I mean? So like last couple of seasons, Salah was like favourite boy, and it was Salah this, Salah that. And I think part of it was obviously we were on a title charge, blah, blah, blah. Now seems like Son's the golden boy and Salah's been forgotten about. But like you rightly said, they're just stepping up to the level that Salah has been at consistently for the past 2-3 seasons. So yeah, man. I've been hearing that like Tottenham have the best front 3 and all this, and they keep talking about the most goals combination between a combo. Like, forget all that, man. Like, you ain't won nothing yet, and you ain't having this title yet either. So just fall back. But we're gonna get onto them anyway. But yeah, no, big up Salah, man. He's still working diligently in the background. You know what I mean? So big him up, man.
I was going to say it was a good interview with Andy Robertson about Salah and Mane as well earlier in the week, where he was like talking about their relationship.
Sports, Stu, that interview?
No, I've forgotten where it was, But you say like they're just natural goal scorers. They want to score goals. So if either of them want to score, they're going to take a shot. They're going to take a chance on where other players aren't going to take it. But for some reason, it's leveled more at Salah than it is at Mane.
Well,
So,
luckily, it hasn't affected Salah. I don't think Salah
No.
is actually bothered by those kind of labels. I don't even the way how peaceful he looks on the pitch. It's like he doesn't even read the newspaper. I wouldn't even say he was even aware of some of the things that have been said about him. Do you know what I mean? Like the kind of humble he is, just going about his business. But you know what? As long as he stays at the level he's at, it's good for us. I mean, I'll take that. You know what I mean?
Then if you see Salah and Mane's journeys just to be footballers,
yeah,
paper's not going to bother those kids.
no.
He's walking 20 miles just to go to training. Reading a clip is not going to mean anything to him. The mentality is a different level on both of them.
And even what they were saying about, there was something early again this week that Klopp's changed with like Salah and Mane, because apparently due to their religion, they have to, after they do the warm up, they like have to be clean before they do the warm up. Then they do the warm up and then they clean themselves again before they go out on the pitch again.
Really?
And Klopp's like giving them these extra 2 minutes either side to just for them to do this thing for their religion.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Listen, man. Sorry, Hefe, man. You keep 3 buttons, 2 buttons to Stu, man. Make sure you're back to Stu with these gems, Stu, man. I like that. I like the little when you get to hear the inside track on what goes on behind the closed doors and that, man. It's nice, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. So yeah, man. 4-0. I thought it was a Mane goal, but they're giving it as an own goal, so it was pretty comfortable from there. Trent got minutes in on the pitch, which was good. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, from there, saw the game out. We didn't get to see what Klopp said at the end of the game because obviously we started recording, but I'm sure he was happy. Once we finish this, I'm going to go back and check that interview. But yeah, back to joint top of the table, or second, as the haters like to put it, because of goal difference. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's get on to top of the table. Let's talk about Spurs. My dark horses. They had the North London derby today, and I was hoping Arsenal will kind of slow them down a little bit, but you can never rely on that shit fucking team, bro. Like, wow. The final score in the North London derby was 2-0 to Spurs, and I think the lesson from that game is don't give a Jose Mourinho team a 2-0 lead in a game, mate. Wow.
I was going to say, don't even give them a 1-0 lead in the game because they'll hold on to a 1-0. But listen, again, as much as
sorry, Stu, I've never seen a bus erected so quickly and dismantled so quickly during a game as I did in that game. Like when they didn't have the ball, they were so well drilled, man.
Yeah, and I think it was like Arsenal had all the possession. It was like something like 69% possession, but they just don't know what to do with it. Like they don't know what to do with that possession. Like they've just had it all, and it was not even putting proper balls into the box. They weren't utilising their players. Like it just seems like they're just devoid of all.
They have a £300,000 a week player not registered to play, and they put Lacazette in a number 10 position. Really, Arteta? Was that the best that you could do?
Yeah.
Did you have a plan? Like, do Arsenal, because every week it seems to change. You know, there's a 5 at the back. Then there's 3 behind the Aubameyang. Then the Aubameyang's on the wing. It's a constant change. You know, how do they get a rhythm? How do people understand where people are supposed to run and then they're putting all the pressure on Saka? It's almost like they're the new Spurs.
Oh,
They were not like that.
Do you know what? Yeah, you see Arsenal. Yeah, like I have beef with these fans as well. So I actually wanted them to get slapped today. So I could just, after this, you see the way I'm going to be walking into these chat rooms, yeah, these WhatsApp groups. I'm on smoke, bro. If you know me, you know when I'm on my gram, I'm on nothing but smoke now. But listen, those guys Arsenal are not creating no chances. They made it easy for Spurs today, if I'm honest with you. It weren't like that, and they've been like that in a lot of their games, in all fairness. And this Ozil shout, yeah, it's actually starting to do my nutting, because when Ozil, I think people got short-term memories. Because when Ozil was there, yeah, he did assist a fair bit. But at the same point, people saw him as the weak link in the team. So you could get at them where he wouldn't get back and track back. I think I saw Ozil play one game where he was just different. Like, he tracked back, he was putting in balls and doing all kinds of bits and bobs. But he don't do that on a regular basis.
Yeah, but Leroy, let me jump in on the Ozil thing. Yeah, just the fact they've got Thomas Partey and like him or loathe him, yeah, Granit Xhaka. If they played Ozil in a free with those two, surely those two have got enough about them to get about the pitch and cover a little bit. And then you got
go on. No, because I was gonna say you could even do that. They could even do that with El Neni and Partey, yeah. But let me just tell you, yeah, what happens is I had this conversation with one of the other lads that's an Arsenal fan. We had a sensible conversation. I said, yeah, Thomas Partey coming. They looked at him and thought, yeah. But if you go and look at Thomas Partey's stats at Atletico, the guy never got injured. He's been there for 2 minutes and the man's been out. Now, the reason for that, I'm telling you now, is the work rate is mad, bro. I'm telling you. He can't believe that I got to put out so many fires, huh? Hey, I'm loving it. I love it. I love seeing Arsenal just getting peppered, bro. Good. There's no love lost whatsoever. And my boys who are Arsenal fans, they're gonna be watching this.
Yeah, they're deluded.
And today's one was proper funny as well, to be honest, because like what Hefe was saying before about no plan, right? You're the ones attacking. You lose the ball, and the guys up the field and the guys, the ones who are staying back. It's wild to me. Like, I just didn't understand where the logic was. Some of the guys who were at the back, I was like, well, nah, you shouldn't have had those guys at the back. Yeah, Chris, fair enough. You want your yeah.
There was a point where Spurs were attacking, and Spurs had 4 in attack, and Arsenal had 2 back, bro.
Yeah,
2. I said, wow, what's going on here? You know, I think the manager even pushed Thomas Partey back onto the pitch because he pulled out on one of the attacks. He wanted to go on. Man, I saw a different angle in it, and then the manager just pushed him back on to be like, no, you're gonna have to cover. He did about 2 strides. He said, "Nah, allow this." Man just turned around and just came back to the sidelines. I said, "Wow!"
But that's what I'm saying. He wasn't even ready to come back, and they have forced the issue today with bringing him back. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to say to you. The man has broke down fully. He weren't meant to be back until after Christmas. That's what happens, bro. That's why what we're doing is nothing short of madness, bro. You know what I mean? Come on, man. They need to put some respect on our name. And my guys are going to be watching this, and they're going to have to watch this a week, bro.
They're going to have to hold on.
That's the scary thing going back to us, that we're not at full strength and we're not at full pelt yet, and we're putting teams to the sword. Like when people are expecting us to fall over, we're actually hop, skipping and jumping. That's mad. But RIP Arsenal. Yeah, I think they're 15th in the league now. It's crazy.
Good.
Relegation talk. The point of this isn't Arsenal. Spurs. We need to. I pointed them out as serious title contenders. They played Chelsea and they nicked a point. I've had Arsenal at home, so out of 2 games, they got us coming up as well. But the first 2 games to take 4 points, that's kind of, to me, what title contenders do. You go to your rivals and you don't lose, and you pick up a win and a draw. That's 2 good results. How serious is the threat from Spurs becoming?
Who's that to?
Anybody.
All right.
When it's open-ended, man. You know what I'm saying? You man are sitting in those boxes like, I have to check to make sure you haven't frozen in that. You know what I mean?
2 weeks ago, I said they'd be our closest contenders. but I'm gonna have to revise it a little bit because there's no actual evidence that these guys can sustain a proper title because they've never done it. They've never sustained a title, a challenge. So, and what we just entered December. So I would like to see if they're still there in February, then we might be able to talk because I still see that there's still Spursy there somewhere. There's still
that old Spursy.
There's still the Spursy element, you know. And when they start to pick up a few injuries, then we'll see what's going on, you know. I still see them as Spursy. But we're making the league competitive by having injuries, I think.
That's mad. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? We're making it competitive because we've got injuries. Yeah, and because we've had a few bad decisions with VAR. So realistically, everyone else is doing fantastic right now. We're doing bare minimum, an okay level, and we're still joint top. That's mad. That's mad.
That's the levels. That's how high the bar is, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Should we win this league, this will be even sweeter for me. Oh my God.
I second that. I second that. Yeah, 100%. Just for the fact of like, you know, it's like what we've done, yeah? It's a race, innit? Everyone starts on the line, yeah? The gun's gone. We stood there with our hands over our eyes, counting to 10. And then when we got to 10, we started walking, still with our hand over our eyes.
Mad.
We ended up at the front. You know what I'm saying? It's mad. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's like I said before, I don't think there's much expectation for me or pressure to win the league this season, given what's happened. So if we do win it, it will, like Leroy said, man, even sweeter. But yeah, Spurs, like you said, FA, maybe they haven't got what's in the locker to maintain the title charge, but we'll see. But for me, they're a serious threat. And onto Sam's shout for title contenders, Chelsea. They beat Leeds 3-1 yesterday at the Bridge. I mean, they had fans in there as well. Fat lot of good that did though, man. It's still like a library in there, man. Jesus. But Sam, your boys, Chelsea, got the job done.
As I keep on saying, man, it may not be about them being the strongest, but the amount of talent they have, for me, is always going to keep them in touch. It's always going to keep them in touch. They've got guys who can miss open goals pretty much every other week in Werner, yeah. But they can bring on someone who's better. They can have injuries and bring on Pulisic. Their strength in depth from the front is what's concerning me. That's all it is. It's not Lampard. It's not any pedigree. It's just the volume of talent they have. And while they're still in touch, we've got to be aware of them, man. And I mean, Leeds are no pushovers. Despite like the penalty they probably should have got if my man had gone down, any of that, it was a good solid win, and I'm wary of them. I'm still wary of them, even more so than Spurs. I just feel there's something there going on at Chelsea at the moment, man. I'm just wary.
Fair enough.
Can I counter that then, Sam? Can I counter that? Because I'm not saying that they're not. I'm not saying that they're not, but we all see that if you're not solid at the back, you can't win the league. And I think with Chelsea, they can have as much firepower as they want. They're relying on Thiago Silva, who so far is getting the back line in order, but I still think they're capable of a Ricky at the back. I don't think Zuma's doing much better, but I still think he's a bit culpable sometimes. Even the same with Spurs. I think they've sorted out their back line to a degree because they went and bought Højbjerg and they put, Sissoko in the middle, and they've just protected them. But Jose knows that. He knows that from being a title winning manager. Frank, if he doesn't, he's got Kante, but is it enough? Like, is Thiago Silva going to last the whole season as well? I think if you haven't got your defense sorted, you can't win the league. We know that. We got it the hard way. Do you know what I mean? Years ago.
How did Chelsea's backline cope when they come up against real pace in a Mane, Salah, Jota, Firmino? How do they cope with all that? I mean, Zuma's quick, but he can't put out two, 3 fires at once. So you're right, Chris. I don't know if Thiago Silva is going to be the answer for them for the whole season, but
I was going to say, to answer you, when they come up against that pace, they lose 2-0. So
there you go.
Hey, Efe, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to take another button. 3 buttons for Stu. Sorry, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that.
But also going back to their game yesterday, if Kepa had been in goal and they conceded that goal to Leeds that they did, Kepa would be getting ruined him. The new keeper comes in like he's caught in no man's land, and Bamford does like he's not the quickest, but he dances around him.
But isn't that the price you pay when you have a keeper like Mendy, Alisson, Ederson? They are going to be out of their box quite high up. Their starting position is always quite high, and that there's always a possibility of that. Isn't that the trade-off?
No, there is, but I think that it goes back to Chris's point about them not being solid at the back because they defend like the keeper and defenders. There was no communication in that goal.
Fair enough.
But they're in it, though, aren't they? They haven't been together long. So that's going to take some time, but you're right. People can capitalize on that if they're brave enough. You know, while they're figuring things out, while they're getting to know each other, can capitalize. Just people have to be brave. You know, but then like we were saying with Lampard, I think that, like you said, he's not the best manager, but I think that he's accidentally stumbling on the right side. Like for instance, Giroud. He's now got no choice. He didn't want to play him. Yeah. But you can't tell me having Tammy Abrahams, who can't get into England starting 11, just about make the squad barely, is a better option than France's starting centre forward. On a World Cup. You know, so I think
Giroud got the perfect hat trick in midweek. He actually scored 4, but I can't remember who they played, Chelsea, but he got
Seville.
Yes, and he got the perfect hat trick +1. He can't be ignored. It's a show of the lack of what's the word I'm looking for?
Talent.
Pardon?
Are you gonna say talent in the Premier?
No. The lack of flipping. It's Arsenal. I can't think of the word I'm looking for now. The way Arsenal just let Giroud go, and they can't hit the back of a barnyard right now. Arsenal, do you know what I mean? And you've got a man like Giroud, he's an absolute gunman, and they let him go to who were their rivals at the time. And now look how the tides turn. Oh, Arsenal, what a shambles of a club! But yeah,
it's classic Arsenal. Giroud, they do that regularly, man.
Because if you get pace around Giroud, he's dangerous because he's got a good touch.
Yeah, his link-up play is insane.
He's insane, and they got enough pace in those wide areas, running from outside to in, to complement him. You know, and if you push a team back, he's closer to the box, and he's devastating in the air.
Yeah, he is.
Can I just put in though? Are we writing off the way a lot of people are talking? They're just writing off City.
No,
we're coming to you, Leroy.
No, I was coming to Man City. I was going to say next. Man City played on Saturday as well, and they, even though the score was only 2-0 against Fulham, they steamrolled Fulham. Do you know what I mean? They absolutely bossed the game. Kevin De Bruyne was absolutely superb as always. Probably one of the best midfielders in the league, if not the best. Although Rance, that the Man United fan would say, has actually said Pogba's better than him. But that's the whole
red tinted glasses. That is.
Wow.
Really red, really tinted.
He's drinking red stripe with sorrow in
there. Yeah. Man City, you can never write them off, even though, as we speak, where are they sitting in the league?
6 with a game in hand.
Yeah, with a game in hand. So with that game in hand, they would be on 21 points. So you can't write them off. That's not a big enough gap to write City off. Still got plenty of class in their ranks. But what's scary about City is that they're quietly going about their business.
Yeah.
Games.
Yeah.
So have to be wary of that.
Have they won any big games? Have they beaten any of the sides?
Not yet. I think they've only played up. They played us.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
They lost to Spurs.
Yeah.
Spurs.
Yeah. And they played Leicester and they lost.
Yeah.
They got United next week.
So
that'll be the test. That'll be the test.
They struggled in recent years against United, didn't it? Oli has a good
Yeah.
record. Funny enough.
That'll be the test. That'll be the test. We'll see if they're really about this life still. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm not even gonna mention the fucking shite side of Manchester. You know what I mean? Forget them. Like, yeah, even though they're 1 point closer than City, I just can't give them no airtime. Not right now. But all right, boys, just to go back to our game quickly, all in all, a great performance. Good to see Trent back. One last thing to ask from you all. Quick man of the match. I'm going to go from my screen. I'm going to start with you, Engineer Sam.
I'm going for Salah. Thought he was excellent today. His touch, his finish. He started the whole win for us. Thought his movement was excellent as well. Yeah, it looks like he's back into proper form, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings for this next month, at least for this period when we've got a lot of games. So yeah, Salah for me.
Yourself, Chris?
I probably would have given it to Ginny, because he still had to do cover.
Why did you take? Man,
that was mine.
Yeah, I'd give it to Ginny. He had a solid game, scored a goal, and he just bossed it quietly. Yeah, really impressed.
Stu?
I was going to say Salah, but I actually gave it to Matip. Clean sheet, scored a goal, looked calm in defence as well. So, and like, I think you've got to give him credit as well for helping out Nico on that right side of defence.
Mine still is Genie. And I don't know if you guys noticed, every time Adama Traore was coming down that side, he was out there straight away, doubling up, boom, immediately. The backup. I'm sure you lot seen that. Or was I seeing another player? No one else saw? Huh?
No.
Yeah.
Man was back every time. And that for me was the difference between Nico getting another card, another booking, and then us being down to 10 men and been going from controlling the game to now having to weather the game. So that's why my thing goes to him. But a big shout out to Firm, man, because Firmino was putting out nutmegs out there today, and it's nice to see him with the smile and playing with that buzz and that.
Yeah,
Again,
good shout, man. Good
You know
shout.
what I mean?
I can't believe. Let's just get Hefe's man of the match, and we'll come
Sorry.
back to Firm. Go on, Hefe.
Do you know what is so nice about being asked man of the matches recently is that everyone can choose a different person. That just tells you how well the team is playing. And I'd say Genie, but I just want to give an honourable mention to cheat code Robbo.
Yes.
I think that he had another exceptional game, and Traore got no change. And then and he's not just sliding the ball out of play; he's coming out with the ball and starting attacks. He's defending. So I'll go with Robbo for me again.
Fair enough. And myself, I'm going to go with Ronaldo as well. I just think
Nice.
like all the things everyone else was saying, he was just superb. He was breaking up play. He was holding the ball. The fact that he got forward, he was there for that counter attack. Got forward and got his goal. That was probably outside of Barcelona one of my favorite performances from Gini Wijnaldum today, man. He was amazing. But before I wrap it up, yes, I'm glad you mentioned. I did forget about Firmino, and I had it written down as well, man. What I had written down is Firmino is back, and I'm just like, I agree.
Give me a
you.
button.
You can't ask for them. You can't ask for them, bro. Don't work like that.
Give me my last button, man. I want my button. Everybody can get 2 buttons, 4 buttons, 3 buttons. I want one button, man.
If he's getting a button, I want one too.
See, look what you caused now. You're anarchy in there. Just pay me. Just pay me. That's what needs to happen. Like, forget the rest of these guys.
I just want my one button.
I'm taking all my buttons, and I'm keeping all my buttons. Yeah, forget all of you.
Keep your button, then I don't want it.
No, big up Firmino, man. I hope this is the sign of the things to come for Firmino. I hope this is the Firmino that stays for the rest of the season, man. Because like you said, the nutmegs were back. You could just see the flair in his plays. He's happy again. I think that little stint in the favelas did him nice. You know, when he went and played for Brazil, he got those couple of goals or whatever it was. Yeah, man. Yeah, big up Firms. Yeah, boys, that's it, man. Time's up, man. You know what I'm saying? I think this is our last Zoom pod. I think the next time you see the podcast, we'll be back in our usual spot. So this will be the last time you get to see 6 beautiful, handsome faces on your screen. So people, make sure you do all that good stuff, that liking, that sharing, subscribing, please, all of that. Tell your mum, your nan, your cat, your dog, even your pet gecko, man. They like to watch things too, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been your boy Slim, as always. We've had Bajan and Bruce in the building.
Yep.
Man like Hefe.
Champs.
Oi, Pastor Stu.
I was going to say, Slim, send our condolences to your boy White Yardy.
No, Stu, you get all the buttons. You get all the buttons. You can have them all.
Wait a minute.
Oi, man like Chris in the building.
Yeah, keeping the head warm still, keeping the head warm.
Thanks, brother. And of course, the man who's going to get busy while we all go and put our feet up and watch the match reaction, engineer Sam. Love my brother.
Peace, people.
All right, until the next time, guys.